So Durga says, excited to hear about the coaching related to starting your business. Biggest and naive question. I'm excited too, because I people keep on asking me, questions, and honestly, I thought when I was starting my business that I just hadn't looked for the right coaching or the right resources, but like now for whatever 4 or 5 years in, I still haven't found a lot of the advice I would have given to my not younger self, but like my younger self as an entrepreneur, I would have given to myself when I was starting out. And I think that's because most business related advice is very male centric. And also entrepreneurship has not been professionalized. It's only recently that we look up to entrepreneurs. Before that, they were just sort of, like crazy scientist types that, like it's only recently that we look up to people like Elon Musk, and that whole industry is still, that profession is still becoming professionalized. And that's why there are so many, I think, gaps in terms of resources for new entrepreneurs. So she's asking, what does a starting point look like? How to get over the initial hump of getting started? So first of all, we have created, it's good, interesting that you asked that, because we've created a free download. I don't know if you've seen it. We might have sent it out before you joined. Right before you joined, we sent a mailer out to all our students with this download. But Mia, do you mind putting the link to the download in the chat? Yeah, it's the one from Flowdesk. So yeah, it's a download. It's called Quit Your 9-to-5 Journaling Tool. And we made it a journaling tool because a lot of what prevents people, and especially women, from taking that first step is a lot of like internal talk, right? Like it's this big unknown. Maybe you don't know too many entrepreneurs. Maybe you don't, have any entrepreneurs in your family. And so there's a lot of like, sort of like what, like anxiety surrounding the unknown. And so basically in using this tool, we're helping you kind of, put on paper, like, what am I afraid of? And should I really be afraid of these things? And then we help you kind of like, brainstorm solutions for some of these. So we close that loop, because when you have anxiety about something, it just like, first of all, it's very tiring. And that thought just keeps on looping around in your head with no outlet and no solution. So we're going to take those anxieties or those fears or those concerns, put them on paper. And, for everyone, your journaling will be different. When I look back on the fears that I had starting out, it honestly makes me laugh. One of the fears I had, it's a phobia. It's not even a fear. For me, I don't come from a tech background, which is funny because now I'm like neck deep in tech every day, all day. But when I was starting out, I was terrified of creating a website for myself because I knew nothing about creating a website. It just really terrified me. And I figured if I don't have this skill set, I will never be able to have a successful business. And the truth is that now it just seems laughable, because either you can learn, there are great tools for people to like DIY, like, WordPress, DIY your own sites like drag and drop, and where you need no tech background, or you can hire someone to do it. So that's not my genius. My genius is helping make investing understandable to women. And so that's, I just need to make sure that I can do that really well, and the rest can be outsourced. So that was kind of like I'm just giving an example of my fear. And so something like this journaling tool would have helped me be like, okay, there are solutions to this problem. Like, it's not that big a deal. There's other anxieties too. And so some of these things, like some of these are still issues that we have, and we just manage them. They haven't gone away, but we're managing them, and we're on top of them, and we're doing the best we can. And certain unknowns you have to be okay with. you know, there are unknowns when you start a business, and you have to accept that, yeah, this is an unknown. I don't know what's going to happen, but what I'm giving up my certainty for like certainty of like a solid paycheck is, you know, this light work-life balance, this, you know, that I create for myself and for my family, and like, you know, your kind of boss life scenario. It's an extension of that. You know, I'm not saying everyone needs to quit their job tomorrow. Far from it. But you know, for me, it's worked out. I cannot imagine being in a 9-to-5. And I kind of did it because I had to. You know, if you know my story, like I didn't really have a choice. But I'm, you know, kind of glad that I was forced to start my own business. So, okay, so Mia has dropped the Leave Your 9-to-5 journaling tool download link that you can, anyone can all have access to. And yeah, stay tuned for more on, like, you know, starting your own, you know, those first steps, how to get started and how to calm your nerves and get prepared and all of that. Because we're finding that a lot of women in this program, when they kind of go through this program, they're like, okay, now I feel so much more confident about my financial situation. And, you know, I was always scared to leave my job, but now I'm feeling a lot less scared, and I want to do something else and start my own business, or I want to start a nonprofit or whatever it is. So it's kind of like a step 2 to this program we're finding, which is kind of cool. It's not something that I would have had imagined, but it just kind of, you know, makes sense that like once you get in control of your finances, it gives you the ability to take more risk with more confidence, rather than like holding on to certainty for dear life. Calculated risks. It's calculated risks. So anyways, all right. So